¡El pueblo unido!
Vencido. Jamás será vencido. He's coming.
Are we recording? Yes, are we on live?
He's recording.
All right, Houston, we are here live on the MLK Parade. Can you hear me? Here we go, here we go. What do you think? What do you think about this parade? There you go. That's good stuff. Good stuff. And what about this beautiful girl? What is your name, young lady? Look into the camera. And what do you think about this parade and everything? You don't know, but is it fun? Is it fun? She knows it's fun. She knows it's fun.
Okay, he's gonna be with you. I'm gonna be with Rudy.
Okay.
Ruby Dane.
Do I give you back the mic?
That's for Ruby.
There's a bunch of cables. You can
Hold that.
Ruby, can you hear me? What do you think? Is it good?
Oh yeah, what?
Amen. Amen. I'm ready.
Your hat's
I'm
inside
ready.
out. Your hat's inside out.
I
Your
know,
tag.
because I don't want to see Dallas Cowboys.
Okay.
We are
I got it.
we are live.
Are we gonna move?
Yes, stay right here.
We are
If you
live.
want me to do, hold on.
No, it's noticeable, the tag.
I know, but I'll put it back.
Continuously talk or
Gilbert, you're gonna hear Gilbert.
okay,
So Gilbert's gonna be talking, and then you,
okay,
and he'll tell you when,
okay,
or he'll ask you questions.
okay, perfect.
He wants us to be interviewing people on the. He wants us to interview people.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, can I hear? I can't hear anybody. That's. Am I live?
Yes.
All right. I needed to make sure I was live, but I think I'm live now. As you can see, we're crossing all the union. Is labor in the house? We're passing all the labor unions. All the labor unions are here. I see Hope. I see the communication workers. They're all here. They're all celebrating. There we are. I see another American East union. There we go. We need labor. We're just making the corner. We're just now starting. We are here, Houston, at the Martin Luther King Parade. I'm here with, this is Caitlin Tass. Caitlin, tell us, what do you think about this great parade? She loves it. She loves it. We're coming up. We're right behind the Black Heritage Society. Be a drum major. Be a drum major for justice. We're passing on. We're passing lots of people here in Houston. They're lined up on the right. They're lined up on the left. We're coming up on the old shell building. Let me come back this way. Mauricio, I don't know if you can come back this way. I'm coming up, of course, with labor icon, Mr. Claude Cummins. Mr. Cummins, what do you think about today and this incredible parade?
Hey, this is just great, Gilbert. Absolutely great to be out today. There's so many people out celebrating the Dr. King holiday. And of course, as most of you know, Dr. King was assassinated supporting garbage workers that were on strike. So he believed in labor, supported labor, and he believed that labor was the vehicle for economic justice for all races in this country. So we're glad to be here. All right, they're getting ready to
program marshal. Here we go. Here we go. We got more people here on the right. We got more people here on the left. I tell you what. Woo! Give it up for Claude Cummins. Give it up for Claude Cummins. We are here. Hey! I see Marcus Smith, his beautiful wife, Heidi. I see them all here. Yay! Communication Workers of America. Communication Workers of America are in the house. Woo! JP Morgan Chase. It's straight. It's straight. So we are here. There are people everywhere. There are people on the right. There are people on the left. You can just feel the love in the air as everyone is celebrating the Martin Luther King Day Parade. It is fantastic. We're just now getting to start. I'm here with Caitlin. Caitlin, make sure you hold on to one side there, baby. Hold on to one side. I see pets. I see kids. Give me some love. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We're making our way down. We're right by 910 Louisiana here in Shell. Houston, there's still plenty of time to come down here. And of course, you can see all the different booths. We're going to have a great celebration right after the parade. We're making our right turn here on Walker Street. There are still people on the right and on the left. Everybody's waving. They all look nice and warm because it is a gorgeous, gorgeous day out there. Hey, guys, happy Martin Luther King Day. We are making our turn. We're making our turn from Smith to Walker Street. There we go. I like your shirt. It's wonderful. Woo! All right, Houston, we are turning the corner. You know, Martin Luther King is one of those incredible human beings. He's not just a American hero. He's really a world hero. Because if you think about all the different people in the world who've just really changed things, especially in modern times, you think of people like Gandhi. You think of people like Mother Teresa. And then, of course, you've got to put Dr. Martin Luther King there at the top. He has done more. And I see Councilman Kubash there. Councilman Kubash, say hello to our network. The Kubash brothers. They are doing great things in the city and the county. So here we are. We're coming up on the left side here. We're waving at some of the people. Happy Martin Luther King Day, guys. But no, he was just really a world icon, up there with Gandhi, up there with Mother Teresa, because he really stood for peace. He stood for love. And all you got to do is go down to YouTube and you can see the most incredible speeches by Dr. King. And of course, we always think of his I Have a Dream. But if you go to it, one of the most incredible ones is Mountaintop, when he talks about the night before he was assassinated, when he was there to help some of the sanitation workers get their worker rights. And he talked about how he was originally stabbed and he came just an inch away, not even an inch away from losing his life. And it's just extraordinary how he talked about it. And then again, he talks about how he's been to the mountaintop and God has let him see, and that we as a people, and that's all the world's people, all of God's people, will get to the promised land. And that is what's amazing. And then he says, and I may not get there with you, but we as a people will get to the promised land. It's an extraordinary speech. I highly recommend it on YouTube. So now we're coming up. We're about to make another turn here. We're seeing Houstonians on the right. We're seeing Houstonians on the left. Happy Martin Luther King Day, guys. Happy Martin Luther King Day. We're making our turn here on Milam Street. There are Houstonians lined up all the way. You can see them on the right. You can see them on the left. And what a beautiful, beautiful day we are. What do you think, Deanna Pena? What do you want to say to Houston? What do you think about this incredible day and this incredible parade?
Amazing.
Of course, Deanna Pena is my wife and my boss. So, honey, what do you think?
Not your boss. I think it's amazing. Look at all these beautiful people. The weather's fantastic. We thought it would be extra cold. And celebrating Dr. King, where he says, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light. So all these people are bringing their light to drive out that darkness. It's pretty amazing.
I think Dr. King means so many different things to so many different people. But at the end of the day, it's universally love and respect. And it's universally all about workers' rights, human rights, civil rights, all those things, women's rights. What a great human being. Hey, guys, happy Martin Luther King Day. You can see it in their smiles. You can see it in their smiles. Oh, we're coming up on the right. I see a bunch of beautiful girls. I see happy Martin Luther King there, pretty girls. What a wonderful day. And I think Dr. King's probably smiling on us because he's given us this incredible weather. Thank goodness it is nice. It is clear. It is crisp. It is clean. It is just a wonderful, wonderful day here in Houston, Texas. Caitlin, how are you feeling? Let me know. Tell people how you're feeling there. Caitlin, of course, is the daughter of one of my partners, Karen Tass. This is Caitlin Tass. Caitlin, what are you thinking today? And I love your shirt there. So what are you thinking?
I don't really know what.
She says she's not sure, but that's okay. Because here we go. Oh, my God, there's Marcus Smith and Heidi again. Hey, guys.
Marcus Smith and Heidi Smith, of course, they have been always involved in the community. They're always doing good things in the community. So we really appreciate Marcus and Heidi Smith. They are really icons here in the city of Houston, Texas. So we thank you for them and all the things that they do. They're here celebrating Martin Luther King Day with their family. And I highly recommend families out there, if you're listening, talk about what Martin Luther King means to your children. Let them know what he stood for. I think that's where Martin Luther King starts, at home every day. When we talk about just being together, talk about goodness, love, all the things he stood for, I think kids need to learn about his life and his legacy, and it begins at home. All right, we're making our way down. This is we're coming up on Lamar Street. I think we're coming up on we're on Milam. We're right on Milam. Martin Luther King, happy guys. We're coming up on now on Lamar Street on Milam. We're making our way. I think there's like 80 floats or something like that in this great parade. 80 floats and all kinds of elected officials and politicians. They're all lined up, and you can see them on the right. You can see them on the left. Let me come back. Hey, guys, happy Martin Luther King Day. Hey, guys. Oh, hey, you guys. How are you? Happy Martin Luther King Day, guys. Go ahead, baby. What do you want to say?
Why is January? Wait, what's January the 17th, Martin Luther King Day?
That's because that was his birthday. So that's when we celebrate his birthday. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Hey, guys. You got the best seat in the house. Happy Martin Luther King Day, guys. Hey, guys. Happy Martin Luther King Day. So I'm coming back to, of course, our labor icon, Mr. Claude Cummins. Claude, what do you think again? Isn't this a beautiful day? I think Dr. King may be smiling down on us.
Yeah, but it's just absolutely great. And listen, let me do this. Let me get Ruth in here for a minute, because Ruth is actually from Selma. Ruth is from Selma.
Tell us about Selma and what that means to you, what it means to be standing here right now with all of us.
It means that Dr. King's legacy lives on, but we got to not only celebrate his legacy, but we got to live his dream. And his dream was that we were to be one, that we lived in a nation that was for liberty and justice for all. And so we're still fighting for justice. And we're also fighting for our voting rights, things that he died for years ago, we're still fighting for today. So to remember him in a parade is wonderful, but we must continue to live out his dream.
Amen. What do you think he would say today if he saw Mrs. Weiss and that she's in charge of NASA, and, here we are, we're going to send people of color to the moon? What do you think he would say to all of that?
I think that he would be very proud to see the progress that we've made on that front, that we are still able to live the American dream of becoming whatever God has purposed us to be.
Amen. And was it like growing up in Selma? Tell us, what was that like?
It was a tough time, but the thing about it is we knew who we were, we knew where we were going, we knew what our aim was. I think we've lost that in this day and age.
Well, how do we get back?
We have to some kind of way get our people to get on one accord. We have so many different factions, some fighting for this, some fighting for that, some want this, some want that. One issue.
Happy MLK.
Do you know any people firsthand that were on the bridge, or any of the relatives of any of them?
Yes. I had two brothers who were on the bridge. They're both passed away now. One of them was actually there on Bloody Sunday. No kidding. And he sustained quite a few injuries to his head. And he was jailed more than once. Wow. One time he was in jail, and there were so many of them crammed into one spot, they separated the men from the women. But when they separated the men from the women, they put the men across the hall in a restroom, just all crammed together.
They put all the men in a restroom?
Across the hall. But on the other side of the hall, they could hear the women screaming, "Stop, no, don't do that, leave alone." And so what my brother and the other men did, they pulled out the commodes, they pulled out the sinks to cause a flood so that the men would leave the women alone.
God, what a story. Isn't that an incredible story? It's a terrible story, but yet it's an uplifting story, of what we did. And I think that's why, Houston, we got to talk to our kids about these things. They have to know what we've done. They have to learn and live it, because that's the only way we can keep things alive and to keep it going. I so think that's amazing. Well, what else would you like to share with Houston today?
Well, I just would like for them to know that we need to keep fighting for voting rights. Um, that was what we were fighting for back in Selma.
Can you imagine we've come full circle, fighting for rights? We got the Voting Rights Act passed, and then here we are again trying to defend what we already supposedly had won. It just makes no sense.
Exactly. And in that right now, we should be able to sign our names, register to vote. Back in that day, you had to pass a test. And once you pass the test, this is what they would do. They would give you something like a bag full of beans and ask you how many beans in the bag.
Come on.
That was your test. And so if you came close to it, then they would charge you some exorbitant amount of money for the tax to keep you from voting.
Oh, my goodness.
How many bubbles in a bar of soap?
How many bubbles in a bar of soap? Come on. How can you come up with such silliness? Oh, my God. Well, I think those are incredible stories that we got to keep talking about, because I think the more the children learn about it, the more they'll appreciate what they have and what we have. I think that's what's missing a little bit, Claude.
An interesting question. The question also was, what would Dr. King think about today? I think that he would think that we're a bunch of spineless chickens, because we have not done enough to make sure that voting rights are protected. The very thing that he and others fought for, we are here in 2022 having to fight for again. And that's absolutely ridiculous. What we need to do in this country is start a mobilization activity to start a movement. Movement changes things in this country. The civil rights movement was called the civil rights movement. It was a movement. And that's how we got things changed. People are looking for another leader like Dr. King to help, lead this charge. There's not going to be another Dr. King. But what there are a lot of activists that can help start a movement to change things in this country. We still should be marching on the Supreme Court, because they knocked down Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act that would stop states from doing the silliness that this state did in the last legislative session. We ought to be marching on the White House. A couple of months ago, I was arrested in front of the White House, Gilbert.
Is that right?
I was in front of the White House trying to push President Biden to work harder to kill the filibuster so we can pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. So we need to do more in this country to mobilize people, to get them going. Hey there.
Hey, guys.
Hey, happy MLK to all of you.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't even think the filibuster's in the Constitution. I don't think that was something that the founding fathers thought of. I think it was something that was engineered so people could control, the minority, meaning less than the majority, could control and sort of do things that were against the will of the people. And we got to go back to the will of the people.
Right. The filibuster was a racist relic from the past that needs to be gotten rid of, that was used to help protect those states that still wanted slavery. That's all it was used for. And now it's used to stop voting, passing good voting laws that will allow everybody to vote easily. We should be making it easier for people to vote in this country, not harder. Hey, happy MLK.
And happy MLK, Houston. Happy MLK, Houston. Happy MLK, guys. Hey, happy MLK Day. Happy MLK, guys.
Why did he get in jail?
Because they were protesting. But hold on to the rail, baby. Hold on to the rail. Hold on to the rail. Happy MLK, guys. Well, Claude, what's interesting is here we are. In many ways, I think people just take things for granted. Yeah. And here we are.
Hey, happy MLK to all of you.
When you think about the legacy of Selma and people getting killed and arrested and beat up and things for voting rights, and then on election day, we have people say, you know what, my vote doesn't matter. They don't even go vote. Or they think, oh, the line's too long. And people died for that right. People died for that right.
And you make a good point. And listen to this. Whenever I go to Selma to visit with Ruth, I go to the Edmund Pettus Bridge, Gilbert, and what I think about is not so much what happened on Bloody Sunday. As bad as that was, I want you to reflect back on Saturday night. At Saturday night, there were hundreds of people that were in their homes, probably kissing their loved ones, looking at pictures, sitting down at their dinner table saying, you know what, Sunday night I may not be here. You know, they knew that those police officers, those brave 300 or 400 people who marched with Dr. King and John Lewis and others, knew that those police officers were going to be on that bridge stopping them from marching. But what should that tell all of us? They did it anyway. Even though they were not sure that they would live to see the results of what they did it anyway. So what does that tell you? That tells you they weren't doing it just for them because they thought that they might not live. They were doing it for us. And so that was their charge. Our charge should be doing the same thing, marching and mobilizing for those who are going to follow us.
You know, when you put it in that perspective, what courage to be really soldiers of peace, to go in and face incredible odds, fully armed, and all they were armed with was love and respect for their fellow human beings. That's a great, great thing. Well, Mr. Cummins, I really thank you. This is really amazing. We're now coming up here on Clay Street. We're coming down Louisiana. We still have people everywhere on the right and on the left. Hey, guys, happy Martin Luther King Day. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Hey there, girls. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Hey, guys. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Boy, I think that these floats are probably, you know, you can see it as far as the eye can see. Floats, bands, elected officials, community activists, all kinds of people, young people. It's just fantastic. Hello, officer. Happy MLK. Hello, sir.
Floats.
You're right. So I'm going to come back to my lovely wife. So, honey, come on.
As I'm like,
What do you think? What do you think? When you think about Martin Luther King, when I say Dr. Martin Luther King, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
love and light.
Love and light. I like that. Love and light. And when
Let's ask the audience that, like, if we can.
If my correspondent out there, Ruby Dang, is out there, Ruby, I don't know. Can you hear me, Ruby Dang?
Asking for a word to describe MLK, Miss Dr. Martin Luther King.
I'm not sure Ruby Dang can hear us, but if she can hear us, Ruby Dang, ask some of the people out there in the community what they think about Martin Luther King, what it means to them.
Even ask for a word or two. You know?
And I'm with Gilbert Garcia Hamilton, and we're here sponsoring Martin Luther King. And I wanted to see if anyone want to just give us a few comments on why they're here and what Martin Luther King means to them. Would anyone like to just give us a why you're here today?
We come every year, I guess, just to kind of show them, kind of start somewhere, we can start talking about what it means.
It's an
Start
important
with the
thing.
parade, and then we can kind of go on to
Well, that's so important to give the next generation kind of what the thoughts and exposure.
Happy Martin Luther King Day.
So, it's a great thing. So thank you for doing that. Great. That's a beautiful day today. Celebrate Luther King, and thank you all for coming.
And so I think we're back. We are now turning up on Dallas Street. So we are now at Louisiana and Dallas. And, you know, it's funny. When you look across, you can see the other end of the parade kind of circling back where we are. And I can hear a lot of bands, a lot of music, a lot of action turning up that way. As it's circling around, you can see it'll circle back up as we're making our path. You see it, Caitlin, there? I can see a lot of the floats turning around as they begin to follow us. We see a lot of marchers, a lot of labor people in the house. I see AFL-CIO, I see the communication workers. I thought I saw Transport Worker Union. I may have seen some of the ILA or Seafarers or Hope, but I think a lot of labor's out, and it's beautiful to see. You know, Dr. King was one of his main thing was to work with labor. And if you look at the great speech, the I Have a Dream speech, and you look at all those people in the crowd, what people don't remember, Claude, is a lot of those people were organized by labor. It was labor that really got that big crowd for him, that really got them all together. There were a lot of labor representation, and that's the thing. It's just interesting how labor and civil rights and human rights have just gone hand in hand from the beginning of time, because really what labor is just all of us. And all we're trying to do is fight for a livable wage, fight for basic necessities and human rights. Good things, good things.
On the job, and the right for people in this country to organize without intimidation or fear. That's what Dr. King fought for.
Amen. We should all have the right to organize. And young people out there, if you have a skill in a trade, join your union, because that's what it was all about. That's how we got the 5-day work week. That's how we got health insurance. That's how we got all the things that we take for granted today. That's where it came from. Caitlin, you want to say something to everybody?
What? But how can you get arrested if you protest?
That's right. You shouldn't. So that's the whole thing. Hopefully they won't. So hang on tight, baby. Hang on tight. So we're continuing to go forward. I can see on the other side all kinds of people marching. I can see all kinds of flags and banners. And we are right now at Dallas and Smith, and they are making their way. This is just kind of a big loop. So Ruby Dang, what do you see out there, Ruby Dang? Thank you, Susan. Ruby Dang, what do you see out there? Let's turn it over to my colleague, Ruby Dang, who's out there in the field with all the people in the crowd. Ruby?
What it means today, celebrating Martin Luther King. And can you just give us a little bit of background on why you're here today?
Well, I have my 3-year-old grandson here. I have my daughter here, my wife. And I knew I was going to be amongst people with the same mindset, of honoring Dr. Martin Luther King.
Súbale volumen a Ruby para escucharla.
Great patriot. This is just something everybody should be a part of.
Amen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Josiah, say hello.
Come say hello, sweetie.
Come here. Don't be mad. Come here, Papa. Oh, he got that sugar in him now. There's no exchange.
Well, thank you all for coming today, and thank you. To keep this alive.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Gilbert, we're out here. Can you hear me?
I think we're now concluding our parade. I think it was wonderful. I think it was great. We made a couple of rounds here in downtown Houston. I think it's beautiful. Let's make sure we get our sweater. So we're going to return here on Facebook in just a few minutes as we get organized. And I'm turning back over to Ruby Dang, who's interviewing people in the field.
Ruby.
Can you give me a little bit of why you're here today? What this day means to you?
This day means a lot to us, for everybody to be here together. It shows what Dr. Martin Luther King said.
Thank you. Anything you would like to share?
It just brings back unity and freedom, inspiration of everybody just getting together and coming as one.
And I think it's beautiful that even next generation can celebrate.
The guy at the truck is switching you when he's talking to you. Right now, we're starting at when you talk, you want to talk to people, we get it.
Aquí, here is the Gilbert Andrew Garcia and Hamilton We are live. So a big shout for Gilbert Andrew Garcia.
Should we go that way? We've got to get off the street. Guys, I'm so sorry. We've got to get off the street. Keep going. Okay. Hi, this is Ruby Jane. We're here at the MLK Parade. Can you hear me? Again, this is Ruby Jane. We're here at downtown Houston at the 44th annual MLK Parade. We're here celebrating with everyone. It's been a beautiful day, and it's been a great turnout, and it's wonderful to be here celebrating such an enormous man and everything that he's done for us. So I'm just going to ask some of the crowd here. Hi, guys. Good morning. A little bit thought or feedback on what we're doing here today. So great. That's wonderful. Thank you for coming today. What's your name? Well, thank you for coming. This is a great day, and we're on KWWJ. Please listen. Please join us. Can you give us a little bit of feedback on why you're here today? It's a wonderful day, right? Turned out beautiful.
Very nice, great job.
Well, thank you for coming today. You know, he was such a great man. He did so many things for us. Sometimes I think we take for granted, so it's great to take a day out and reflect. Thanks for coming, guys. Thank you for coming. We're on KWWJ. Okay? Just wanted to see what brought you out today. Well, that's wonderful. You know, I think it's so great and beautiful to see the youth out here, you know, so that we can share our struggles. Unfortunately, we still have these struggles out here, and we can't let them forget, and we can't ever forget the man who made all this possible, Martin Luther King. So please, when you have the chance, please listen to us on KWWJ. We'll be talking all day today about his life and legacy. Thank you.
No, we're still on it. Maybe he already arrived.
Yeah, because I heard them say we're done. But I'm just looking at it. Let me see. Let me see.
They have you.
Hi, guys. Talk, inspiration, and prayer, and we're here celebrating Martin Luther King. And just wanted to see if, what brought y'all out today.
We wanted to bring the kids to the parade.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful that we share, you know, everything Martin Luther King did for us. Make sure that the next generation understands those struggles.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, thank y'all again for coming. What's your name, sweetie? And why are you here today? It is a beautiful day. I'm so glad you were here today. Thank y'all for joining.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, Loyalty.
They just have you on. I think you'll be gonna have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
They already arrived.
Yes. Well, one last one. Let me see. Hi, guys. We're with KWWJ at Timber Gilbert. Inspiration and prayer.
Just have you on. I think you'll.
With the parade, and just wanted to see if you could tell me what brought you out today.
Just coming out here to support everyone and participate like we always do.
Well, thank y'all for coming out. Thank you for coming out too, sweetie. Do you want to say hello? All the kiddos, and no one wants to say anything. But we get them home, and then when they won't ever be thank y'all again.
Thank you.
I don't know.
they're here today? What brought them out?
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King. Can you tell me why you came out today?
Martin Luther King Parade Day celebration.
It's a wonderful
It's his day. It's his day.
It's his day. We can't forget about his life and legacy.
No,
Well, thank
never.
you all for coming.
Thank you.
My name is Trina.
Trina.
Mary.
Thank you for coming out,
Trina.
Trina.
My name is Faye.
Oh,
What is your name, baby?
My name is Faye.
Her name is
My name is Faye. Yes, big girl.
Thank you for coming out today.
That's awesome.
Because I was able to sit down with former slave owners and me being a descendant of slaves, Martin Luther King's dream was fulfilled. How about this?
That's wonderful. It's important not to forget about everything, all the struggles that we face, and unfortunately, as people of color. So, just want to say thank y'all for coming out today. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Where is the end?
It's a spiritual holiday for me, and it means a lot to me and my family and all. But I like to say hi to my Uncle Carl and all my people back in Louisiana. But I keep y'all prayers, keep me in prayers, and God bless y'all.
Thank you.
God bless
Thank you
you.
for coming out.
Thank you.
There might be the end.
I guess so. We were like left behind. Thank you for your service.
Service officer. Maybe someplace here.
Yeah, Gilbert got out. I think he already arrived over there. So
Is he doing
yeah, they're still rolling.
Do I still interview folks? You think, or we do someone here? Hey guys, welcome to the Martin Luther King Parade. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you. WWJ Tim Gilbert. And can you let me know what brought you out today?
Don't be shy.
It's Martin Luther King. He's giving us, he fought so hard. Do you know who Martin Luther King is? Isn't it great, amazing that we get to celebrate his father? Thank you for coming out. Thank you, guys. Oh, wait, hold on.
Thank you.
Celebrating with the family and I think they're actually
sure you listen to us on KWWJ, where we'll be talking a little bit more about his life and legacy. And just thank y'all for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, we're here with KWWJ celebrating Martin Luther King. And can you tell me what brought you all out today?
We just thought it would be an interesting experience.
And it turned out to be a beautiful day, and it's wonderful to see so many folks celebrating his life and legacy.
And it's their first time.
What's that?
It's their first time.
Oh, well, it's important, you know. They're young. They've got to know everything that his bunches have faced and everything he overcame for us. So I hope you listen to KWWJ today at 11. We'll be talking a little bit more about everything he did and Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Working the parade. Really? We're doing How's your brother? Well, Alice did good. Thank you. Thank you. It's doing. It's good to see you. Yeah, you too. Yeah, you too. Last time I saw you, we talked really fast. All right. Say hi to Alan. I will. Thank you. Thank you. Somebody just told me. I'm sure. I don't know if it was Sarah. Probably. I will. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your service.
Where's everyone?
It's pretty like. Are they talking to you?
No, they haven't been at all. I've just been talking.
Okay, no, he's recording. Yeah, because Gilbert wanted, you and give out the cars.
All right, Houston, you're back here. This is Gilbert Garcia, a tip from Gilbert, as you know, on KWWJ, which of course is Keep Walking with Jesus. And we tried to do something a little bit different today because, of course, today is the Martin Luther King Parade. I was one of the co-grand marshals. I can't say thank you enough to the Black Heritage Society that gave me that incredible honor, together with Mr. Al Kashani and Mr. Claude Cummings. And we were downtown starting at, frankly, we were here at 8 a.m. getting it all organized, getting it all ready. It's been great fun. There's been Houstonians lined up on all sides of the street. You can feel the love. You can just feel the action. You can feel the friendship in the air. It's a beautiful thing. And that's what Dr. King was all about. That's what his legacy was. And that's the way he lived his life. And that's how we remember him. I happen to have a good friend of mine who I happen to see in the parade, and that's Miss Molly Cook. Molly, are you with us here on a tip from Gilbert?
I am here, Gilbert. Thank you.
So, Molly, tell me something. So, first of all,
you're a candidate for office. Is that correct?
Correct.
So let me ask you, Molly, when you grew up, when there was a young Molly, of course you're very young to me, but when there was young Molly, did you ever think to yourself, one day I'm going to run for office?
You know, my dream was to be a nurse, but my work as a nurse has shown me that I need to have the dream to run for office to care for my patients.
That's wonderful, and hopefully you'll be an inspiration to women, and mainly young. One of the things that excites me about what you're trying to do in your campaign is just all the youth and energy I see in your campaign. So when did you get, I'm going to use a phrase because I can't think of another one, bitten by the bug, and you said, you know what, I'm putting my hat in the arena and I'm going to run for office?
You know, it was a few years ago that I thought it might be a possibility, but it was when I heard that my current senator would be running for mayor when he's supposed to be focused on the session that I jumped in the race.
And how can he do that, or how does he do that?
The state legislature doesn't have to give up their seat to run for another office.
It seems like a freebie. I guess you just say, you know what, since I'm going to get this because everybody's just going to vote for me, I'm just really running for that. That makes no sense.
Yeah, it feels like he's treating the district a little bit like a backup plan.
Well, let me ask you this. So you're an ER nurse. Well, tell me about what's it like. You know, of course, I've seen the TV show ER. I've seen all those, you know, incredible things. I mean, what's a day in the life of Molly Cook as an ER nurse?
It's always different. You know, we work 12-hour shifts. We get there early, we stay late, we work hard, but it's always different, which is what's so exciting about that job. And we do work directly with COVID patients, so that has been a difficulty, but also an honor throughout the pandemic.
And is COVID, do you see a difference between this COVID and, I don't know, I'm not a doctor here, but the earlier COVIDs? I mean, is there a difference?
There is a difference, you know, and I'm not a virologist myself. The bottom line is wash your hands, wear your mask, and get vaccinated.
Very good. Well, did you enjoy yourself at this parade?
I had a blast,
and
yes.
What does Dr. King mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's really about upholding his legacy and fighting for voting rights, whether that means repealing or striking down SB 1 or fighting for the Voting Freedom Act in the national level. We need protection for voting rights right now.
Well, amen to that. Well, what's interesting about Dr. King and his legacy to me is, you know, you think about him as sort of an American hero, but I think he's much more than that. He's really become in that pantheon, is that the right word? Producer, what's the right word I'm looking at? Bottom line is this grand thing of world heroes. When you think about Mother Teresa, you think of Gandhi, you think of Nelson Mandela, I think of Dr. Martin Luther King, something that will outlive us all. I mean, it just seems to me we need to celebrate him, not just his birthday, but every day.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so when you were growing up, who were some of your heroes?
I've had a lot of heroes, but some of the nurses that come to mind are Florence Nightingale, who was like an original public health nurse, and you already said Mother Teresa, who cared for dying patients. So those were some of my models in my early nursing career.
Well, let me ask you this. So when you're there, do you have, I mean, again, I think about television, right? Are you just on your feet all the time, or are you there? I mean, is it just always like this, or is it like sometimes it's super busy and sometimes a little quiet? I mean, what's it like?
Usually not quiet. It's actually really good preparation, I think, for running for office and being an elected public servant, because you have constantly different priorities coming at you and lots of stimulus going on, and you have to be really sure of yourself and react under pressure.
Wonderful. I'm so glad you were able to be on the show with me today, and I'm so glad you were here showing your appreciation for Dr. King by wearing your colors, having your crew, and really marching the parade. So again, Molly, I'm going to give you last word. Anything you want to say to Houston?
Just follow us on social media, Molly for Texas, and mollyfortexas.com, and happy MLK Day. Let's honor his legacy. Let's fight for voting rights.
Thank you, Molly. And please feel free as you exit here to just get some of your colleagues in. I just want to see what Martin Luther King means to them. Thank you. That was Molly Cook. Of course, Molly Cook is an ER nurse. She's been an activist. She's been very active in neighborhood rights. And so we're very grateful to have had her here on the show. So the parade started at 10. It wound its way around. It's been quite amazing. And of course, I have my daughter here. I don't know if you can see her and two of her friends. So let me just ask you, Juju, and I'll ask my producer to send in more people. Do I see Chloe there?
Hi.
Oh, Stephanie Roberts. Stephanie Roberts is one of my partners. Stephanie Roberts, of course, is a longtime veteran at my firm, Garcia Hamilton and Associates. Stephanie's from Midland, Texas. And Stephanie, what does it mean for you to be here and participate in this parade?
Gilbert, this is such an honor to be a part of the parade today. As you said, I grew up in Midland, Texas, West Texas, where it's very conservative. I remember there were times in the mid-'70s when we weren't allowed to participate at the same theater. We had to sit in the balcony of the theater. And so Martin Luther King, with all the great work that he did and all the people that were with him during that time, they paved the way for the success that I have right now. And so it was just an honor to be a part of the parade today.
Do you remember those days, Stephanie?
I do. I do.
When you think about going back in time to young Stephanie and you're there and you're in the movie theater, did they say, "Excuse me, young lady, this is your line, this is where you go"? Or,
you know, it wasn't even that. It was just a normal part of our everyday life. We just knew that was the line that we needed to go to. We just knew that we had to sit in the balcony. And so, you know, it's like you don't know what you don't know. And
let's say that again. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So you didn't really know any better.
Exactly.
That is just amazing to me. And have you ever been back to that theater and don't you want to just go sit in the front row and just say, "I'm here"? You know, "Thank you, Dr. King, I'm in the front row"?
You know, I have been back to that theater, and they actually do plays in that theater now, and we sit in the front row. So
boy,
so yeah, it's amazing. You know, over the years, things that were just accepted, and we didn't know any better. And then I moved here to Houston, and I attended Texas Southern University, and you know, my eyes were just opened in a whole new way. And so things that I just accepted back then, I would never accept now. And it's, again, it all goes back to the civil rights movement and Martin Luther King and all the sacrifices that were made by those people that paved the way for us to just live our lives in a normal manner and live our lives among other people without any distress or wondering if something's going to happen to us.
Well, did you enjoy the parade?
I loved it.
And what did you see? Did little kids come up to you? Or,
there were lots
what
of
was
kids
it like?
there, families, you know, everyone's out celebrating. It's so great to see, especially during these times when, you know, we're thinking about COVID. We weren't able to do the parade in person last year, so it's just great. The energy was high everywhere. It was just great being among everyone and celebrating here in Houston.
Well, Stephanie, thank you. What do you want to say? I'm going to give you last word here to Houston, or maybe somehow, some way, you know, you're talking to yourself, your young self there in Midland, looking at that movie in the movie theater in the balcony. What would you say?
I would just say, you know, that we should never take for granted the freedoms that we have today, because, like I said, it's all because of the sacrifices of those who came before us. And just happy MLK Day to everyone.
Stephanie Roberts, of course, one of the partners at my firm, Garcia Hamilton & Associates. She's been there 22 years. 22 very short but very fast years. So, Stephanie, thank you for being us here with Houston.
Thank you.
And, of course, Houston, you're here on KWWJ. Keep walking with Jesus. A tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer. Of course, I'm the Gilbert, and we're here. I'm going to bring in another guest. I think we have, is Miss Chloe Cook there? Chloe, come over here. So this is Chloe. So you met Molly already. This is Molly's sister, Chloe. So Chloe, tell us, what did this parade mean to you today? And did you have a good time?
Oh, I had a great time. I love parades. I loved meeting everybody and getting to chat with everyone and say hi to everybody while we're walking around. The bands are awesome, always. That's
the bands are awesome, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's something about a marching band, because they're screaming and hollering, and there's that big drum, and you just can't help it your heart just starts to beat with the big drum, right? Oh, yeah. It just goes with it.
Oh, yeah.
Let me ask you this. When you and Molly were growing up, did you say to yourself, you know, someday sister's going to be in the state senate?
Well, I definitely didn't say that, but I knew she was going to do something, you know, and she always has. I mean, it's not like this is the thing that she's doing. She's always been doing and working hard and really taking care of people around her and loving on her community. So I'm endlessly proud of Molly.
That is so wonderful. I can feel the love. Let me ask you this. So tell us about the museum. I know you work in the museum. Tell us about the incredible work there at the Menil.
Oh, I mean, it's an awesome institution. I am so pro museums with free admission. I think that the barrier to entry for you know, arts and culture should be as low as possible. We want everybody to experience that. So I'm really proud to be at an institution that prioritizes that and is anti-racist and really enmeshed in the neighborhood. You know, I love that.
Well, so people who don't know the Menil, explain again. Where is it, and are they paintings or what? Just go through it all for us.
The Menil is a private art collection in Montrose. John and Dominique de Menil were two really prominent art collectors, and they've now made their collection public so everybody can enjoy it. We do conservation. There is sculptures, there are objects, there's works on paper at the Drawing Institute, which is really awesome. There's just, it's an incredibly great collection, and really fun to
Are
go.
you an artist, or what made you think, you know what, I want to go in the Menil? I mean, how did that happen?
I studied art history in college, and I really am passionate about it, and I moved back to Houston. I knew I wanted to be in the art scene, so I worked at an arts nonprofit, started getting involved in the nonprofit sector, and then moved over to the Menil and started kind of working with the conservation department, which is something I'm really interested in.
Let me ask you this. So then, when did Sister say, you know what, Chloe, or she would have said sis? Does she call you sis? What does she call you? What's the family name you got?
She calls me Chloe.
Chloe. Did she say, Chloe, I think I'm going to run for office? Was there an aha moment when that happened?
I mean, yeah and no. It was kind of just on the radar, like, how can I be of service to Texans? How can I be of service to my community? How can we take what we've done with I-45 and translate it to a more safe, healthy, equitable future for the whole state? So,
well, I bet your parents are proud of both of you. Is it just the two of y'all?
Yeah, we have a brother as well. He's a little older than us, so we're
So there's three of y'all.
Yeah.
Well, I bet your parents are very proud. Well, Chloe, I'm going to give you the last word here to Houston.
All right.
What do you want to say about what you're doing and what y'all are here for today, and what Martin Luther King means to you?
Martin Luther King was pro-labor, he was pro-union, he was pro-poor. And it is just so important that we're out here fighting to take care of each other. Community is everything, love is everything. I love my sister, I know my sister loves our community. I'm out here supporting her Senate race and just honoring the day with everybody. So I'm really glad I could be a part of it.
Chloe, well, I'm sending you the love here through the cyberspace. So we thank you for being on the show. Houston, that was Chloe Cook. That name just sounds good. Chloe Cook. And we thank you for being on the show, Chloe.
Thanks.
So I'm going to shoot some more people that are going to be coming in. Again, we're here live at the parade, the MLK Parade. I was one of the co-grand marshals. And again, this is the 44th annual. Oh my goodness. Guess who just walked in the booth? Miss Ernestine Peña Sandoval. And for those of you who don't know Ernie is like everywhere. She's been involved in more nonprofits, more great things, the Ensemble Theater, all kinds of things. Ernie, tell us, what are you up to these days? And in a minute, tell us what Martin Luther King means to you.
Great. I am the Vice President for Development for the Hispanic Institute of Houston. It is a operation that has been in existence for over 65 years, and what it does is brings the Americas together. All of us, as whether we're Hispanic, whether we consider ourselves Latino, whatever, we are all together in this, and Martin Luther King is a perfect example of who we should emulate, because when he talks about the gracious way of freedom and rights and understanding other people, it really means taking care of other people and respecting other people's values. And I believe that Martin Luther King, to this day, has been an instrumental and a vital leader throughout. So I'm so thankful to be a part of this.
Excellent. Let me ask you this. How did it feel walking to this parade?
Oh, it was great. It was tremendous. I felt like we were trying to reinstate the continuity of what it means to just really care about other people. It doesn't mean that the color of your skin is over the fact that we have to have faith in each other, love each other unconditionally, and believe in each other as a nation, because as you can see what happens during a pandemic, everyone becomes suspect to anything, no matter your race, no matter your wealth, no matter your health. It's all together. We have to be together.
Tell us about your son. I know your son's been active in sports, and where's he now? What's he doing?
My son's at U of H, and he is a junior right now, and I'm so proud of him because he continues his sports through leadership, through youth. He does the youth program at the Met Club. He teaches basketball, tennis, everything that kids need to learn, but he teaches them values, that winning isn't everything. Just being good and able to understand a sport is a lot about who you are. It really teaches you lessons, and I'm very proud of him for that. And he is getting his sports management and technology degree, and he wants to go for his master's.
Wonderful. So you're here at the Martin Luther King Parade, the Black Heritage Society 44th annual. Let me ask you this. So you were on the float, I mean, you were walking, marching through. Did you get a sense of, God, this is Houston. This is what it's all about. You saw people from all different colors, all different groups, all different religions here today for one reason: sharing love. How did it feel? What tell us that feeling.
It was very exciting because you want to know that there is a positive future, and you want the people of Houston to see it. And when you see the diversity in Houston, there is no denying that the intellect of people is going to take us to the next level, because we can't all look away and say we're all the same, or too bad we're not the same. You have to recognize, look around you, look at all the people, the colors, and the different types of ideology, and we just have to respect that.
One thing I love is to see the faces of the young kids. So many little kids, little boys, little girls. Right there, right now could be the next Dr. Martin Luther King, because we want them to dream big. We want them to get inspired. We want them to get engaged. We want them to learn about the community and the history. And I just felt like somewhere out there there's hopefully somebody being touched today.
Exactly, and I think education is it's screaming right now. Education is the loudest voice. If you do not put your children first, if the children of this city are not put first, we will have a problem, and I think we know that.
What's that song by Whitney Houston? I believe the children are our future. Remember that song? I don't have the words to that song.
Let them go and let them lead the way. Oh yeah, that's a great one.
Oh my God, for a while there I thought, give me another, what do you call it, a bar? Give me another bar there, another, go ahead.
I believe the children are the future. Let them go and let them lead the way. I believe of all the good inside. Let the strong survive. It's easier when you let the children laughter lead the way for all to see. It's very beautiful.
Wow.
I believe that
oh my God.
We as a people have to stick together. We as a people.
Well,
There is no other word.
I believe in Ernestine singing, because you know what? You moved me. Well, Ernie, I'm going to give you the last word here. What do you want to say to Houston here at KWWJ before we bring in our next guest?
I want to say, feed the homeless. Give to the churches. Give to the food bank. Give. Food is everything. Food is nourishment. Food is knowledge. I can't stand the thought of a child going to school without eating. I just can't.
Amen. Thank you, Ernie. Okay. Ernestine Peña-Sandoval, one of my closest friends. We've been friends now, I think, for 30 years. Something like that.
Exactly.
So, and of course, you were 7 years old when I met you. But
That's right.
But you're looking great, young lady.
You too.
So thank you, Ernie.
Thank you so much, Gilbert. Keep up the great work.
I'm on it, baby. I'm on it. All right, Houston. Let's see who we have next. They're coming. Is that my partner, Ruby Dane?
Yes.
Come on here, Ruby. Let me see what you got. Oh, I like your headband.
Well, it was a bit nippy.
I like your headband. So. Is that like covering your ears there?
It is.
So, Ruby Dane, let me ask you this. What was it like there being in the parade? So you were walking. Did you get a chance to mingle with the people?
I did. I started off with our team walking, and it was a privilege and honor to walk with all our team members. And then I slowly made my way to the sides and just reached out to a couple of folks and asked them, what MLK meant to them and why they were here today. And it was just wonderful, right? I think just looking outside and seeing what a beautiful day we have today with the sun shining down, it's almost like the Lord told us, you need to go out there today and celebrate. So that's what I did.
I thought the same thing, because when I first woke up, I thought to myself, oh no, it's going to be freezing. But it's cold, but it's not that cold.
No.
And I don't know if it's the Lord or Dr. Martin Luther King, or they might be one of the same, but at the end of the day, it was a beautiful day. So as you went up to people, did you go to the children? Did you go to the parents? Or who did you zero in on as you were talking to some of the crowd members?
Oh, I zeroed in on Houston, right? The city of Houston was very well represented out there. The youth, the elderly, black, white, we're all out there, men, women. And, I think the beauty of it was, the different generations that were out there, right? It just like myself, it took the generation before me, including Dr. Martin Luther King, to make change, right? To use their voice to recognize when there's injustice and to go out there and do something in a nonviolent way to make change. So it was beautiful, and it warmed my heart to see grandparents, parents, kids, 3, 4 different generations out here celebrating. And then again, the tradition of telling the story all along the way.
What I really enjoyed was watching the bands coming through and some of the little cheerleaders. Yeah. Some of these cheerleaders, they must have been, I don't know, 6 years old. They were just beautiful. Their pom-poms were bigger than their whole head. I just enjoyed. Did you see some of those, Ruby?
I did.
Wasn't it beautiful?
And it was fun to go out and talk to the kids, right? There were some that were excited and energetic, and then there was those that were a little quiet and shy. But
well, I certainly understand that. There were so many elected officials here. There was Mayor Turner was here, of course. Sheila Jackson-Lee. Sheila's just a hero. I mean, golly. Sheila, I think there's like 5 Sheilas because she's everywhere. And she's everywhere working hard for all of us in the community. She's just amazing. So I saw Sheila Jackson-Lee out there. I saw many of the members of council. Just a wonderful, wonderful thing. So let me ask you something, Ruby. When you were growing up, so you're now a successful partner in the money management industry, in an industry that's primarily white male dominated.
That's right.
So when you were growing up at home, what did you think would be your Ruby Munoz's future?
All I knew is I owed it to my parents, right? They're the ones who had the courage to leave Mexico to come here to the U.S. to give their kids a better future, right? So I always carry that with me, right? That I have to make them proud. And all I wanted to do was, one, to be a good daughter, to be a good student. And, it was a different road, right? As my parents didn't have that guidance that other parents had to give their kids on how to prepare for SATs, the different types of paperwork to fill out, the different opportunities with different schools. So in a sense, I had to do it on my own, right? But again, always with that in the back of my head that, what they gave up to bring me here, to give me this opportunity, I had to make them proud. So I made my way to the wonderful University of Houston system. I'm a University of Houston downtown graduate. And then found my way to this wonderful firm, Garcia Hamilton and Associates. And I'm proud to say that this February, I'm going to be celebrating my 27th year with the firm.
Come on, you must have started when you were 7.
I did.
Or maybe or 8. Well, let me ask, when you were walking the halls at UHD, what did you say? Did you think, I'm going to be at a firm, I'm going to be a senior partner, I'm going to be there 27 years?
No, clueless, right? Like every family that comes from, a background like myself, that, finance was never an avenue. So it was never mentioned, never talked, and I never thought that it would be a career. But again, it goes back to the wonderful programs at the University of Houston downtown that it opened my eyes that maybe this was a possibility. And I always enjoyed numbers and math, and lo and behold, here I am.
And so have you gone back to the campus and looked around, and do you remember, like, God, I used to study there?
Yeah, it's completely changed. Completely changed. So, many, many years when I attended the University of Houston downtown, it was just one building. And I don't know if many of you remember, there was a very famous restaurant called the Old Spaghetti Warehouse that was down the block from the University of Houston.
The Spaghetti Warehouse.
So I had to park in that parking lot and then walk up the bridge to go to the university. Well, now, I don't know, Gilbert, I think you may have passed by the freeways to see the growth of the school, and it's just incredible, all the different buildings that have gone up.
Everything looks brand new.
It's brand new. It's state of the art. It's just, I'm just so proud to say that, that's I'm an alum of that school.
That is so amazing. Ruby, I want you to stay with me. Let's bring in one of our other guests there, the one with the brown hat there. Ruby, come on this side with me for a second. I want to interview this lady here. I saw her, she was walking with Molly Cook. You can come with me. Come on in. You're here. You are on the show. A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer. And of course, I'm the Gilbert. This is one of my partners from my firm, Ruby Dang. So what is your name?
Zalika Jackson Ledette.
Zalika Jackson.
Zalika Jackson. I'm Mrs. Ledette.
Zalika Jackson Ledette. Miss
Yes.
Ledette. So Miss Ledette, what was it like walking
and marching here at the Martin Luther King Day Parade for you?
What it was like. I always am a visitor to the MLK Parade because I'm usually supporting my daughter or my son who's walking with their school or dance. But this year, to have the honor to walk with Molly Go Molly, I know, was for the very first time to be in the Houston downtown MLK Parade is inspiring. It was great to wave and to see the people that Molly will be reaching when she wins the seat.
Well, let me ask you this. What does Dr. King mean to you?
Martin Luther King Jr. means, Dr. King was a man of faith. It's so many emotions. As a woman of color, I just started a new business, BDBY. Just to be a woman of color and to own my own business in the United States is something that Dr. King fought for. So I feel very privileged to say he was a man of faith. He not only fought and sacrificed his life for people of color, but for all people who feel injustices in this world. And he fought for equality.
Well, Ms. Ledette, what does your business do?
I am a birth and postpartum doula, a childbirth education counselor, and also a lactation counselor. I have a personal relationship with Molly. We both work at Methodist HMH as a nurse, and just to see how she's grown, her compassion for people has definitely touched how I treat my clients in my business.
That is wonderful. So you've been to the parade before?
I have.
So but you've been a, I don't know the right word, a spectator.
A spectator,
So,
yes.
someone in the community.
And a proud mom.
And a proud mom. And was your daughter in it?
So my daughter is feeling ill, and she is not here today, but her school.
But has she been in the parade before?
Yes, absolutely. She and my son. I have a 16-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter who was going to be walking with her dance troupe from her elementary school.
Oh, how wonderful. Well, let me ask you this then. So when you think of Dr. King, what do we do as a society, as a community, to really keep that hope and that dream alive? What should we be doing?
One, we need to be aware of our public servicemen. I think that we also need to stay abreast of things that are affecting us in our communities. And I think that's the bridge that we need to have as individuals, instead of just saying, this is what I want. Knowing those things and the values that you have for your home, but also being able to listen and carry those things and be compassionate to one another. Listening is very important. We don't do enough of that.
I love that. Listening and be compassionate to one another. Well, Miss Ledette, I'm going to give you the last word. Actually, Ruby, you want to ask Miss Ledette anything here?
Well, I just want to say thank you for everything you do. Being a woman, I totally get it, and being a woman of color. Opportunities sometimes don't come our way, but I'm just so proud to be here, and I'm so proud to hear your story and your success. And I think, again, the most important thing is the youth, right? We can't let them forget the importance and all the hard work that people did that came before them, and that they have to continue that same hard work.
Absolutely. Well, thank you.
Well, Ms. Ledette, I'm going to give you the last word. What do you want to say to Houston here about the 44th annual Martin Luther King Day Parade for the Black Heritage Society?
I say the parade in general is the people that are here as spectators are the heart of the city, and those are the ones that we try to reach and that we are reaching. So yay, MLK, RIP to all of the people who are like-minded like he is. Way to go.
Miss Ledette, thank you for being on our show. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Miss Ledette, of course. She was here. She's got her colors on, Miss Molly Cook for Senate. But she's really here because she loves Houston. Her son and daughter have been in the parade over the years when they were younger. Well, they're young now, but they've been in the parade. So, Miss Ledette, thank you for joining us. I think we have one of my co-grand marshals who just stepped in. Is that Mr. Al Kashani?
That's him.
Or who is that handsome man? Come over here, Mr. Al Kashani. So, Houston, this is Mr. Al Kashani, who's one of our co-grand marshals today at the parade. So, Mr. Al Kashani, talk to Houston. Tell us a little bit about all the different things that you're doing, and then after you go through that, what does Martin Luther King Jr. mean to you?
Well, I'm going to reverse the question. I'm going to answer the second part.
Please.
First, if you don't mind.
Please.
Martin Luther King means a lot to me. And most people don't realize that what Martin Luther King did is benefited everybody, not just the African American, of all the minorities, all the women, and basically he advocated for equal rights, equal protection, and all of us have benefited on these things here. I think Houston is a pinnacle city in terms of the internationalism, in terms of the diversity of it. So this is obviously an indication of how this city is. You have co-grand marshals in the Mexican American heritage, you have Middle Eastern heritage, and you have an African American as the co-grand marshals. That shows the strength and a diversity in this city there. As a part of that, Martin Luther King advocated for everybody, for all equal rights. We all have benefit for that. That means a lot to me. I'm a proud moment for me, myself, to be a part of this parade. And we like to give back. That's what we have to do. For those of us have had opportunity, I know, Gilbert, you do a lot of that. And we like to do the same thing. We are trying to create jobs. We're building a construction management training school in the heart of Third Ward. We're building a truck driver training school there. We have started a program with 50 cents, my friend, the Jew Unity Business Lab program. We're taking high school kids and we're teaching them MBA in high school. So whether they make it to college or they don't make it to college, at least they can know how to build prosperity and wealth and give back. So it's all about uplifting the community and working together as the same to make Houston and our community in America a better place to live.
Well, those are just fantastic comments. I like the concept of uplifting. I like the concept of giving back. It's amazing all that you do, Mr. Kashani. So let me ask you this. How did it feel being a co-grand marshal up there on the float? And what was it a good feeling? Was it a beautiful feeling? And what are some of the faces you saw out there in the crowd?
It was beautiful. I mean, I can tell you I've been fortunate to be a part of a lot of great events, but I can tell you this was one of my proudest moments in my life. As all the things that we do in terms of the business world, I would just say this is a pinnacle in my life. It felt great, to be co-grand marshal with you and Claude, good friends for a long time. And it's just really hard to express. It's a really proud moment, and it just brings, and it just sends the energy between the folks and what the MLK did for the voting rights, for everything else, that we are continue to fight for that. Unfortunately, some of the situations there, but we just got to stay strong, stay together, and keep going.
Amen. And what's interesting is, Dr. King is really a world hero. He's not just an American hero, he's really a world hero because he's been about peace, he's been about love, he's been about equal rights, worker rights, and those are things that resonate all over the world. Well, tell me this, when you were growing up as a boy, did you ever think, one day I'm going to be this entrepreneur, I'm going to be doing all these things, and I'm going to be sitting as a co-grand marshal of the Martin Luther King Day Parade? I mean, what did you think when you were growing up?
Well, I would never have dreamed about that. So, it would have been a dream if I would have thought about that, but it's just a proud moment. I've been through some things in my life, and most of the people that immigrated to this country, I'm originally a Persian American. So Cyrus the Great, about 400 BC, he talked about the equal rights, civil rights, as King Cyrus and Martin Luther King. They had more than just the name of king in common. They both advocated for diversities. When Cyrus freed all the slaves back in 400 BC there, that was 2,500 years ago. So here we are in 2020, we're dealing with some of the same issues there. But, I would have never thought that as a child that I would be in this situation, having the opportunity to be the co-grand marshal of it there. So it's a dream that I never thought about it, but it came true for me.
Very interesting. When you think about the Persian history, that's where really mankind started, right? Humankind started. That whole region of the world, right?
The first civil rights in the world was written by King Cyrus. And as he conquered, the Persian Empire grew to be one of the largest empires in the world. And as he was conquering the countries, he would say that you would keep your religion, you keep your culture, you keep your language, And the only thing you gotta do, you gotta pay some taxes to the federal government. That's here as today's date. So he makes sure that everybody's right was in there. And in fact, the first civil rights, the Bill of Rights and the Congress of United, people don't realize that the United States Constitution, it was some of the Persian King Cyrus inserts were used as writing in the Constitution as well. So
When was that about? When was King Cyrus and his
I believe
reign?
425 BC, or is it 400 BC? So that's about 25 to 3,000 years ago. 2,500, 3,000 years
Can you
ago.
imagine how incredible it is that that's, even before Christ, there were people thinking about, civil rights and people being involved. It's just amazing. What a great culture.
It was one of the first kings that freed all the Jews and the slaves, and basically tried to unite all the countries that they were part of the empire. But the visions, like I said, they had more than just the name of king in common with Martin Luther King. So the visions was the same, and Martin Luther King a dream came true, and we are hoping that we can continue legacy. And I appreciate that everything that you do for our community, Gilbert. Our missions are aligned. We all do the same thing. It's time to give back, and if we don't uplift each other, nobody else is going to help us uplift.
Amen. Well, Houston, we've got Mr. Al Kashani here with us on Keep Walking with Jesus, KWWJ, on a tip from Gilbert, talk, inspiration, and prayer. So let's go ahead and Ruby, why don't we give Mr. Kashani the last word? Al, what do you want to say to Houston here as the last word?
We are the greatest city in the nation. I've been in 122 countries. I've traveled many cities. I love Houston. I made Houston home for me, Texas. I've been here since I was 16 years old. The city is great, but we can even make it greater. We got to work together, and we are only at 50% of our potential. So you haven't seen nothing yet. That will be my message to the world.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Kashani. Thank you for being on the show, and we'll have you again next time. So I think, that reminds me of that song, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. But baby, you just ain't seen nothing yet. So let me go ahead and see. I think we're coming up to, we got about 5 or 6 minutes here. We're still here on location at the Martin Luther King Jr. Parade. And let me see if we've got any other guests out there that are going to come in here, Miss Ruby Dang, real quick. And again, this is Keep Walking with Jesus. KWWJ, Gilbert Garcia, tip from Gilbert. We're on the air every Monday from 11 to 11:45, and of course we're on Facebook, we're on everything, and you should be calling in. Because we're on location, we're not able to take calls, but you can call in, you can write me at a tipfromgilbert@gmail.com. We've been here at the Martin Luther King Jr. Parade, and I will tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, Martin Luther King Jr., if you ever want to be moved, just go look on Facebook. And you can see some of the great speeches by Martin Luther King. They're there, the I Have a Dream speech, the Mountaintop speech, and I will tell you, they are moving today as they were when they first happened. I think we have Miss Daisy. Daisy, I don't know if I can see you just yet, but Daisy's here. Daisy, you've been everywhere today. You're like bopping in, you're bopping out, you got the camera, you don't got the camera, you're just everywhere. Tell me, what has it meant to you to be here today at this incredible parade?
Well, it's amazing, Gilbert. Thank you for this opportunity. It's great to see how the whole city came united today in prayer and to celebrate this great man, Martin Luther King. Did so many things for us, and I am so excited to be here, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Now, you're a pastor. Are you a pastor?
Yes, we serve in the church, and we do a lot of prayer. We help out single mothers and senior citizens and young people. The younger generation sometimes are so disconnected. They don't have a direction, so we help them to come together in prayer and help them, guide them through life.
Well, let me ask this. And you're head of the Texas Women's Democratic Party?
Yes, I'm going to be serving as a president. In fact, you are invited. Monday, the 24th, is going to be the swearing ceremony.
Oh,
and
how
you're
wonderful.
Invited, Gilbert.
Houston, you're invited. I can't wait to go. Where's it going to be?
Well, we're doing the swearing ceremony live through Zoom. Because of COVID and all the restrictions that we have going on. but I would love for you to be part of this. Is an amazing opportunity. I've been serving the board for the past 3 years, so now I will have the opportunity to serve as president.
Well, they're lucky to have you. So where are you from?
I am from El Salvador, San Salvador.
And when did you come here to the U.S.?
I came here in 1986, and I grew up in Los Angeles.
And let me ask you this. Do you have family there in the country?
Yes, I do have a lot of cousins and uncles, and I recently helped my mother and my sisters to come to the United States.
What was it like back in 1986 in El Salvador?
It was a very dangerous country. It was a lot of turmoils were going on, and that was the reason why we left the country. But luckily we are here. My family's here. God has been good to us, and I am so grateful for the opportunity to live in this country.
Was there a civil war?
Yes.
And
yes.
Did you know people that lost their lives?
For 12 years, I lost all my friends. I lost my neighbors. I lost a lot of family members during that time.
God, that's just like crushing me right now just to think about it. And it's interesting to even think about it in the context of Dr. Martin Luther King, who was all about love and peace. And what's so interesting is how could a man of all this peace be taken away from us at such a young age? How old was Dr. King? I think he was in his low 30s, right?
Yes. It's really tragic because he wanted to see the people united. He had a dream, and I think that we are now seeing that dream, Gilbert, and this is the amazing part. One of the quotes that I shared this morning was that only love can make us come together and work together in unity, because if you don't do that, we go down as fools.
That's right. Well, think about all that he did and all the greatness and all the things he said, and he was only here with us for such a short period of time.
Yes.
Well, he is an icon and a legend. And remember, there was a show, I always say, it was Carol Burnett. And at the end, they'd always say, I'm so glad we had this time together to share a laugh and sing a song.
Yes.
And he says, and just when we get started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say, so long.
Yes.
Because Houston, we are at that point. We're at the end of the show. It flies when you're having fun. We've got about, maybe 60 seconds, 70 seconds before we sign off. I appreciate you being here with us. Again, this is a tip from Gilbert, Talk Inspiration and Prayer. We were on location here in downtown Houston, picking up some people here and interviewing them, people that were here marching to the parade. Daisy, what do you want to say to Houston here in closing?
Well, I want to invite everyone to practice what Dr. Martin Luther King taught us, to work united in love, inclusive, because that's the only way we can get this country ahead, and that's the easiest way to do it, and putting God first.
I think that's right. And you know what? It all begins at home. Let's teach our children the lessons and the stories of Dr. King and the words of Dr. King. Let's teach them so they can relive it, relearn it, and it can stay fresh and alive, because that's the only way we're going to change things in this world. It starts with the kids, and it starts at home. So let me say, on behalf of my producer, on behalf of everyone here, my family here at the parade, the Black Heritage Society, that was so wonderful to give me the incredible honor to serve as one of the co-grand marshals. I just want to say thank you to my firm for sponsoring it here at Garcia Hamilton Associates. And we're going to be signing off here. Be with us next week. We have a big shows coming up. We're going to have someone talking about cannabis. We're going to have Garnett Coleman talking about his incredible life. We're going to have Chris Tomlinson to talk about the Alamo and the role slavery played in the Alamo. And we'll see you next week.